Hello everyone, I've just come back from Lidl. And no, it wasn't to go and pick up fruit, veg, food or anything like that, no. It was to go and pick up some of the Lidl Airfix releases, the Lidl exclusive Airfix kits for June 2026. And so today we're going to be taking a look at one of them in the form of this, the 1/72nd scale Westland Gazelle. So firstly then, looking at the box, the first thing that you notice is the branding is completely different. I don't really know why, but it is. This here is a computer render of like a very cartoony gazelle. Very strange. It does have a pilot in there who's not particularly cartoony, so that's definitely a style. We have a product code over here of A68231, which is a new product code for this release, this kit. This kit has been released many times before, as we're going to see, but not with this product code. And the big banner down here, one of the Airfix series of scale models of famous types of aircraft. 8+, so presumably it has 8 kits inside, who knows. On this edge we have some history about the aircraft and this little statement here, additional paints may be required to complete model to a higher specification, and it tells us what it includes. 4 acrylic paints, 1 brush, 1 polycement, and it's a skill level 2. On this side we have the grey edge, which has warnings in only 2 languages, English and German, as opposed to the multitude of languages they often have, and the shop edge looks like this, although in the shop it was just dumped up against one side with this huge great dent straight in it, bearing in mind the shop had only been open 5 minutes when I went in there. And if you're wondering where the tooling information is, well, on the back of the box we have the colour callout, giving us the length, the width, the number of pieces, and here it tells us that it's a 1973 design and tooling and 2026 decal scheme. We do have Cartograph decals included, and it tells us we've got 4 paints. Well, we already knew that, but it tells us what they are: 14, 18, 53 and 85. And this is the scheme. No history about what the scheme is, but it is a display gazelle, in case you were wondering. Right, that's a quick look at the box. Now let's open it up, see what we get. And full disclosure, I have already opened it up. I've already filmed most of an unboxing and then realised my microphone wasn't on. So, yeah. That was stupid. So anyway, let's open it up and see what we get inside. Again, we had 3 plastic bags. The dark grey plastic was in one, the clear was in a second, and then the third had the paints and the polycement. The paintbrush is supposed to have a cover on it, but mine had fallen off and was hanging out the box, so as soon as I opened it, it was gone. So that wasn't ideal. And then we also have these instructions. Again, they were just folded like this. I haven't had a look properly through these. This is as far as I got when I realised there was no audio coming through. But you can see that there's a small decal sheet inside. So we're going to have a look at that now, just to make sure that they are kept safe and not left flapping about whilst we look at other things. Very, very few decals. It says there are 6. In fact, if I zoom in, that is number 6 there, look. Done a little lightning bolt. Well, at least I assume there's a lightning bolt. Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to be fine because they're Cartograph, but yes, not very many, are there? Right, now I'm going to put those to one side to make sure that they are kept safe. We'll look at the instructions shortly, but I want to talk about the paints. Firstly, here's the polycement. I'm going to put that to one side. Perfectly usable. Personally, I don't, but you can use it. It's not the end of the world. We have 4 paints, 14, 18, 53 and 85. I do not intend to be using these paints. I never do really, unless I'm doing a specific starter set challenge, but we're going to take a look inside the black one. I've chosen the black one because I'm going to keep these sealed. I might use them for a project I've got coming up, but the black one I've got so much of, I don't really care. It is, it's liquid. Yeah. A little bit blue, which is fine because that's how you make it, but okay, looks good. If the others are like that, in fact, no, for completeness, because I'm feeling generous, let's just have a look inside all of them. Why not? Make sure that they're all going to work. Oh God, yep, that one definitely does. That started leaking. Yep, that's fine. That's very liquidy. Number 18, the orange. Oh, it's a bit stiff. Oh, yep, all good, all liquid. Once you stir these or shake these, you should get a perfectly usable paint. This one is a bugger. This one doesn't want to open at all. It's just, oh dear. Oh, man versus paint pot I'm also very conscious of the fact that if I just rip it open, it will go everywhere. There we go. Yeah, it had some dried paint on the side. That's what was stopping it. But again, that is all liquid as well. So that's all fine. Tick, all 4 paints. Good. Instructions then. We have this really annoying flappy bit. Gift set. The box doesn't actually tell you if it's a starter set or a gift set. By today's standards, Airfix starter sets are specifically designed to be starter sets. A gift set is usually just an older kit that they've chucked in some paints with, so that matches what we would expect. But we do only have languages. We do only have 2 languages on the opening page, English and German, which suggests that Lidl don't expect anyone else to be seeing this, which is fair enough. It's only sold in the UK and Lidl are a German firm, so okay. But we do have a lot of blank space as a result. Opening up, here we have assembly instructions, a bit of guidance telling you roughly what to do, not appropriate for children under 36 months of age, although we also know that it's ages 8+. Okay, and in German, that's about it. Advice for supervising adults. I tend to find that if you just stick them in front of the TV, you can get on with whatever you want to do, which is usually building models. And some assembly icon instructions down here, just giving you a rough idea of what to expect. Let's fold that out the way. Right, we have pilots. Look, parts 3 and 5. We have pilots who both have their right hands extended, presumably holding a mug of tea or coffee. Other beverages are available. It's telling us that the seats are painted blue and everything else is black. This is the interior, of course. That will be because they've printed these instructions specifically for this scheme, and therefore all colours mentioned on here will be the ones that are included. They're not going to say paint it 103 if they don't give you 103, which is fine. For me, I will probably have to look at lots of pictures and download maybe even an older version of these instructions to work it out. As in, you know, what I think they should be, rather than restricting myself to just 4 colours. We have a little bit of glazing going in on the left and right. I assume there is more glazing because otherwise you've got no front end. The side spinny also goes in, painted orange. Do not glue so that you can spin it. Down here we have the engine, again, mix of blue and gunmetal. Looks perfectly fine. And the rotors. Again, do not glue that bit so that you can keep it spinning. Some people like the spinny bits of their models to spin. I'm not that fussed normally, but I would rather them supply spinny bits and give people that option than force you to glue it shut. Step 5, we are basically assembling the rest of it from the top perspective. So we have the nose, which goes there. The doors, doesn't say that they can be glued open. I guess you could. And the rotor blade goes on as well, and the engine and the tail. And then finally, step 6, we've got some skids and, you know, a few other bits. So yeah, it looks fine. Looks a fairly simple kit. Don't forget, it did say skill level 2, but we'll see. Right, on to the plastic. Now, normally I would leave the clear plastic inside its bag, but I decided to open all of the bags just for the sake of it. Let's have a look. 2 noses. I'm guessing, therefore, that there are options included in this tooling that are not catered for at this release. Same goes for these bits. I'm guessing that's the top, or is it the bottom? What does a gazelle look like? Does everyone know what a gazelle looks like? It's the top. Of course it's the top. I knew it was the top. Yes. So I'm guessing this is one scheme and this is another scheme, but obviously they've only given you one option in this particular release. It's okay. It looks a bit cloudy. You can see there it's got some scratches on it. I'm trying to get the light to reflect off of it deliberately so you can see on the top part here. We've also got a fair bit of flash, and this is... So I need part 28. Which one's 28? Oh, actually really hard to see. Oh, they both look like 28 to me. That can't be right. Unless it just has 2 noses. Huh. Yeah, unclear. I'll work it out nearer the time. But yes, we've got flash, which is definitely not ideal. Don't like that. And, oh, what's this? On this door, we have this huge bit of round, clear plastic. Yeah, it's on the back. Yeah, so I can feel it, and you can probably hear the way my nail catches on it. It's like it's got an extra layer of plastic on top. And that's on one door on each side by the looks of it. Yeah, because there's one over here and there's one here. And you can also see just how scratched and bad that is. Oh dear. Yeah, that's not going to look great, is it? Okay. Fine, I guess. Okay, onto the dark grey plastic. We're going to go on this sprue first. We've got the fuselage stroke body half, the starboard half. It doesn't say sprue A or anything, pretty standard for the age of the kit, but you know, you can work it out. Part number, is it on the inside? Yeah, it's on the inside. And it's on the inside and it's upside down. It's part 14. I don't know why it's upside down. You can mould it however you like. Dumb. That's so stupid. Anyway, we have a groove for a display stand. Doesn't look like there's a display stand because it's not in the box, but it's got a groove for one. We also have the tail skids, which have a little bit of flash on that side. Not the end of the world, but these are very spindly parts, so you've got to be careful. And they're not actually attached in two places, only attached in one. This is presumably just a bit of extra support. Okay. Yeah, it's showing its age a bit. Down here, oh dear, lots of extra plastic. In fact, looking at the body, there's a fair bit along here. I mean, it's raised rivet detail, and it's quite fine, although not all of it appears to be dead straight, and it looks like there's quite a lot of scratches on here. I would say this tooling is showing its age. Because it's got a lot of raised detail and it's got some flashing on the joining surfaces, it's going to be a little bit of a pig to get it to glue without a seam line without removing the detail. And you can't easily add raised rivets again. So that isn't good. Not happy with that. Right, other sprue, we have the other side of the fuselage, and the first thing that I can see is just how bad the rivet detail is there. Look, it's wonky. It's nowhere near in line. That doesn't look good. And again, there's just a lot of, it's only small amounts, but it is everywhere. It's just this extra plastic, almost like they've not joined the moulds together tight enough. The tail looks okay. Got a bit more flash down here. Wow. Got some pilots. He's on the wonk. In fact, look, if you line them up straight ahead, they're looking to the left. I quite like that. I commented on that in a recent video, which I've realised hasn't actually been published yet, but the Vigan, the club kit Vigan is from the 70s, and that has the same thing. It has pilots that are looking to the left. They're actually really nicely done. They're pretty good. I'd say they're slightly better than modern pilots, in fact. All the proportions seem to be there, and they're a bit more dynamic because they've got one hand holding something. The only other parts we've got on here really are rotors and a couple of sort of fins and things. This is obviously the bulk head, the back with a ejection pin right through the middle of the visible surface. Brilliant. That's not great. And oh, have you seen what I've seen on here? The rotors. In case you don't know what I'm looking at and what I'm saying, that scratch isn't supposed to be there. That's supposed to be smooth like the others. Look at that. Completely scratched all the way down. What's the other side like? The other side is better, but we've got flash along one side and a lot of damage showing on that side. Is it the end of the world? No. Ultimately, it's a fairly small aircraft. I don't think too many people are going to notice, but if this is intended for a Lidl audience, I'm not saying that modelers don't get all of their shopping from Lidl, but you wouldn't expect people to go to Lidl specifically for models. So it's logical that the market is there to introduce people to Airfix, and you're introducing them to a tool from the 1970s that you haven't been bothered to do any work with whatsoever because it's got loads of flash and completely scuffed rotor blades. Okay, yeah, fine. That pretty much tells me everything that I need to know about this, doesn't it? So here is the entry on ScaleMates, and you can see here, Lidl UK exclusive, 14th of June 2026, which is the day I am recording this. We have the product code as mentioned, and if you scroll down, you can see the history of the kit. It is indeed, as they say, a 1973 tool, and it's been released many times in many different boxes, usually, not exclusively, but usually, with a product code of something like 01059. So the 059 seems to denote the Gazelle. The 01 refers to the fact that it's a Series 1 kit, but every now and again you'll see it in a set like this, which has 91059, the 9 being the prefix for the set at the time. I feel it is worth noting that we saw a little slot for a display stand, and if you look at the original blister pack release, oh look, there's a display stand, which means you actually get less now than you did back in 1973. And this is the product listing on the Lidl website. As you can see, £6.99, which, given what you receive inside, I would say is fine, because £6.99 is already very cheap. They could provide fewer parts. I mean, it said it's got, what, 40? You could get fewer parts for that, and you're not really going to find a Series 1 kit from Airfix for as little as £6.99, let alone with the paint and the cement and brush and everything included. So I can't really argue about the price. I just would argue why you would necessarily want to buy a Gazelle as your first ever model when you come to build it and realise, oh, this is looking a little bit bad. So to summarise then, we have this rather bizarre artwork which has no mention of an artist, just simply doesn't say. Normally they do. For whatever reason they've decided not to. We have no registration or anything, no markings on the box. It is rather odd. And so when you look at the colour call out on the back, you see, oh yeah, look, it's actually GAFGA. Why is that not mentioned on the box art? Very curious. 4 paints, which are fine, paintbrush, fine, no problems there whatsoever. But I do question why they've decided to release a 1970s tool kit that clearly requires a bit more skill than your starter set as a Lidl set. So did Lidl approach Airfix and go, yeah, we want something a little bit different, what have you got? Huh, that was good, get it a little bit different anyway. Or did Airfix go to Lidl and go, can you allow us to release some old crap, please? We don't think we've quite made enough money out of this ancient tooling. Can you give us an excuse to release it? Also interesting that they've chosen to go for a new scheme not seen before on this Gazelle kit, rather than, at least I don't think it's seen before, certainly not in any of the boxes, rather than going for your more standard release with some camouflage. Again, don't know why, but that's what they've decided to go for. And so I think, to summarise in general, I've actually got more questions now than I had when I saw that they were being released. So yeah, help me out in the comments below. Why, I guess, is the main question. Do Airfix hate Lidl? Do Lidl hate Airfix? If you tried to build this, you were, let's say, a teenager, somebody had bought this with their shop thinking, oh, that'll be a fun thing for you to go and build, and you start it and you realise that the detail's in kind of the wrong place and it's going to take a lot of effort to tidy up the flash. Do you think you'd go back and buy another Airfix kit, or do you think this would just get chucked in the bin? Let me know below. For now though, I am off to go and build this. If you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've disliked it, give it a thumbs down. You can also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. You can also become a channel member like the people appearing on screen. Channel members will get weekly updates of what's going on my bench, and as I often work a month or two ahead of what's published on YouTube, they get lots of spoilers, but they're not sort of, oh God, I'm sick of this now. It's, oh, wait a minute, I remember this about 1 or 2 months ago. So if you're interested in joining them, please do. There's the occasional members only poll and things like that as well. If you can't or you don't want to, absolutely fine. Just watching the video is good enough. So on that note, I'm off to build a Gazelle. Hopefully I will see you in another video soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.